Hi, I'm Joe. I'm a photographer based out of Portland, Oregon. And if you're just tuning in, this is my journey from Portland to New Orleans, where we spent 2 nights, and now we're waking up about to embark on our South American cruise. But first, we have to get through the absolute show that it is to get on the cruise. So we wake up and we catch a ride to the docks, which sound small, but when you actually get there, it is enormous. There are so many people there, and it is a complete cluster. And yes, Norwegian Cruise Line is a multi-million-dollar company. Maybe Billy, I don't know how much they make. Imagine airport security if airport security just showed up one day and was like, yeah, I'll do this job. And like no training or anything. That was what was happening. So we're trying to get our asses on the ship because we're basically assuming once we get on there that we're safe. And even then, it was actually a little bit crap for the first hour or two where they're like, yeah, you're here, have fun, but don't go to your rooms because they're not ready. And I'm like, why aren't the rooms ready? I don't know. I mean, I don't actually know what the logistics are going into a cruise. So, if somebody's like, well, it's because of, let me know in the comments because I actually don't know what I'm talking about. But once we finally got settled in, about an hour and a half, 2 hours afterwards is when the cruise was like, oh, okay, it's underway, blah, 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 blah. But I swear to God, as soon as we got on the cruise, anybody that was there before us, they were already old people in the hot tub, claiming their spot, It was awesome. So we're walking around the cruise, and then they finally announce on the intercom, oh, your rooms are ready. You should go check them out. A little bit of background information. Maggie's family was nice enough to put some money out for us to have a room, okay? We couldn't actually afford to do this cruise on our own, but naturally, if they're paying for their own room and they're paying for our room, they're gonna get us the cheapest room. So we went to the cheapest room, and when we opened it up, the door ran into the thing outside, it made this dinging noise, and this is the actual noise. This isn't a sound effect. But other than that, the rooms are really small. Everybody says the rooms are tiny on cruise ships, and they're not lying, but it is really well serviced. The people that actually are assigned to you every day, greet you every morning, and they're really nice and really good at their jobs. And I mean, it was nice. I mean, on the front end, it does look a little bit small, but it was really nice. Anyway, so then we left the room and we were like, let's keep walking around because we're super stoked, right? We're on a cruise, and the cruise ship is a building on its side. It's still huge. So we're several stories up, right? 15 stories or something ridiculous. So we're just in the port of New Orleans, right? And we're just looking over the city, and it is just beautiful. It was awesome. So of course I had to get a bunch of video of that, and the sunset is going on. So of course I was like, hey, I have to show this off. This is pretty badass. And then the sun goes down, and of course we're snagging drinks. And here's one thing I will say. If you are thinking about doing a cruise, okay, I don't know what Norwegian Cruise Lines does, but when it comes to their pina coladas, they are so consistently perfect. I know some toxic masculinity guys are gonna be like, oh, you're drinking a fruity drink. I don't care. They're amazing. They're freaking amazing. We got the ultimate beverage package here, which when they say all-inclusive cruises, just like anything else all-inclusive, it doesn't include all. So just make sure if you book an all-inclusive cruise, know exactly what you're getting. that's pretty much the end of the first day. The second day we woke up and it was beautiful, but this was our full day at sea. So the first thing you do when you wake up on vacation, you grab drinks. So we did. And we just kind of enjoyed the views. I mean, there was no like land in sight or anything, but we just kind of enjoyed the boat. I mean, there was literally something for everyone. Just walked around and watched the water pass by. So for those of you that don't know, when you're on a cruise, essentially you go on excursions or day trip. This one was stopping in Costa Maya, Mexico. And so basically you can either buy an excursion through the cruise, which is usually like expensive, like minimum $100, or you can go figure things out for yourself. Now, depending on where you're at, if you feel safe, figuring out for yourself is the better deal. Now, if you don't feel safe and you're not sure it's a good idea, maybe just do the excursion through the cruise. But Maggie and I, the world travelers that we are, decided we're gonna go off by ourselves and do our own thing. So we did. And the first thing we did is we caught a taxi cab to the beach and they ripped us off. The very first thing. They're like, yeah, that'll be a $4 ride. And I was like, perfect. We get there and I give him a 10 and he gives me $2 back and walks away before I can say anything. And I'm like, wait, where's my, and he's gone. And I was like, this beach was pitched to us as like this luxurious resort, and it was not. It was really rough. And in fact, as soon as I stepped out of the cab, I actually felt really kind of uneasy. But man, it just really got rough. And you can even see right here, Maggie is like sad. Like, you look at her. And you can actually see this woman right here. She was selling sunglasses, and she wasn't the only one. There were literally dozens of people that every 60 seconds would come up to us and try and sell us something. And they were really aggressive. And the whole thing just gave us terrible vibes. So we were just like, let's get out of here. We spent 45 minutes there and we were like, let's go. So we caught a cab back and we just got back on the ship. And I was just really sad because this was my first South American experience and it was really bad. Despite our experiences the first day in Costa Maya, Maggie actually managed to convince me, hey, let's take a boat to the mainland and experience Belize for real. They dropped us off in a town called Placencia. This town was really cool. It had touristy stuff in it. It had local stuff in it. There was a lot of locals walking around, doing things, living the life, doing the stuff. And as soon as we got off the boat, they were like, hey, golf carts for rent, daily rentals, $50. And $50 seemed a little bit steep, but the golf carts were cruising, and it's the best way to see Belize. so nice. There was tons of hustlers that were trying to make some money, but they were not like the people in Costa Maya. While they definitely were trying to make some money, they were not that pushy. But at no point in Belize did I feel like I was going to get ripped off at any second. And it was just honestly a really big relief after our first experience in Costa Maya. But Belize had super cool aesthetics too. I mean, as a photographer, as a videographer, I wish we had more than a day just to walk around. It was like really neat. So at this point, we've had some really good experience with Belize and a really bad experience with Costa Maya. For our third trip to Honduras, we decided to book an excursion through Norwegian, which was actually pretty cool. And this was an ATV adventure where you basically ride through, and it was pretty neat. It was definitely a little bit lawless, like anything goes type thing. And then one guy's like flying around. I mean, he's going so fast, like all over the place. And he had a monkey on his shoulder. Like, no, Joe, you just had this monkey. And so then we get to this beautiful ridge, and this monkey, he's just like, hey, anybody want to take a picture with this thing? It's $5. And we were like, yeah. So Maggie took some pictures with the monkey. and it's just so funny. I don't know. It's just so funny to me that he just had this pet monkey and he like exploits it for money. But like, hey, you gotta hustle, man. The only thing about the Honduras trip was that I didn't know what to expect with the ATVs, and it was supposed to pour rain that day, and it did. So I didn't bring my camera, so I don't have anything to show for it, which is really sad because it was a really fun day and it was very beautiful, and I really wish I could have shown that off better. But at the end of the day, we headed back to the boat and we had some drinks and we were hanging out, and we saw, so again, back to this idea that there's something for everybody on this ship. There really is. Look at these kids on this. Look at these fearless little kids on this jungle gym swing thing, whatever it is. And this one kid that just straight up doesn't give a fuck. All right, that concludes part 2 of our trip to South America. Part 3 will consist of our trip to Cozumel, Mexico, which I think may have been my favorite stop the whole trip. And it'll also include alligators, but I'm not going to talk about that until you see it. Thanks for tuning in.